Hello, how we doing, ladies and gentlemen? So my name is FrogX, and we're back at it with another tier list. So today is gaming console tier list. I was looking at like YouTuber tier list, but it was just, it would have been it just wouldn't have been great. So today we have gaming tier list, or gaming console tier list. First off, we got the 3DS. 3DS goes in the iconic. Now, actually, wait, I'm gonna put it down to good, because I was thinking like, oh, it'll be iconic, you know, but it wasn't necessarily. It was great because you could like play with friends anywhere you wanted, you know, which was good. But the reason it's not an iconic is because the Game Boy Color isn't iconic. Now, I know it wasn't the first Game Boy, but I think that's the only Game Boy on this. I know I'm about to get flamed in the comments for my lack of knowledge of anything, but I mean, you could play literally anywhere. You could play anywhere. That's the reason. That's the reason the Game Boy. I'm treating this as any of the Game Boys is an iconic. I believe this is the GameCube. No, it was never really. Mid doesn't mean bad on this list, it just means middle of the pack for me. No, I've never actually played on a GameCube, but I've heard a lot of things. Generally, pretty positive things. So, actually, yeah, we'll put it up in mid. Now, a lot of people are going to get mad at me for this. I'm not treating this as the original DS. The original DS would be probably here or here. But I'm treating this as the 2DS. That's the DS I had as a small child. Now, if you're a parent and you want to get your kid something that they could take around anywhere, a video game console, in the mid to early 2010s, don't get the 2DS. That's what I got. You know, I'm not trying to complain because it was still cool, but my parents, their thought process, they said, you know, we're not going to get him the 3DS because that'll destroy his eyes. Little did they know, you could just turn the 3DS setting down. Like, you didn't have to actually kill your eyes every second of the day. It was just, look at this. Look at, it's a flip. Like, come on. Parents. Actually, no, this doesn't fall on the parents. This is Nintendo. Nintendo, it's a no from me on the 2DS. Now, the PlayStation 1, it's going in my GOAT console. Now, this is actually my favorite console I've ever played on. Better than the Switch, better than the PS4. It's the best console I've ever played on. Now, I believe they got the head start. They got the drop on Xbox. So, and they had a lot of really good games. I grew up playing Crash Bandicoot on the PS1, and personally, I think it's the best console to ever be made. And I know that that's controversial, and I know most people would say, oh, well, the 360. It was just ahead of its time. Alright, that's why it's there, okay? PS2, they were starting to drop off a bit, because it's difficult to replicate. It's difficult to replicate like what you're doing here, but it was still good. It wasn't iconic. It wasn't as iconic as the first. It's just, you know, it's hard to back up that. Alright, the PS3. Now, not necessarily that this was a bad console. It was starting to dip a bit. And the price was like $500 when it first came out or something. It was just something ridiculous. And then the Xbox 360 drops. And this is where they dropped it was PlayStation all the way, right? It was always PlayStation all the way. And because they had the best exclusives, the best consoles. But then the 360 dropped. They had Halo in the peak of its popularity. and they had all these other games that captivated the entire audience, that captivated everyone that played it. So that's why 360 is gonna go in the GOAT spot. Now, coming in next, we got the PS4. This is the console that saved PlayStation, okay? They were coming off what was likely their worst console in the PS3, and they needed something to reinvigorate the PlayStation boys, as I like to call them. This is also another console that I had growing up. And I will say, yeah, PS4 was elite. It's not necessarily GOAT, because, I mean, you know what, this is my tier list. I can do or say what I want. Yeah, this was a GOAT console. This was a GOAT console, in my opinion. The Switch. We're not going to talk about the Switch yet, because, actually, we'll do the Wii, and then the Wii U, and then the Switch. Okay, the Wii. Personally, I think the Wii is iconic. I thought it was awesome. I actually never had one, but I knew so many people that did, and I just thought they were amazing. I thought, the whole the controls were kind of spotty sometimes, but I just thought there's a lot of things that you can do with the system like this. Plus, I mean, playing with friends, it was always more fun on the Wii. Alright. Next, we got the Wii U. Alright, the Wii U is going to have to go in the bad tier. Alright, now, I had one of these as well. But here's the thing. With the Wii U, it was just, well, first off, playing with friends was already, it would have sucked to play with friends, because you only get one of those, you only got one of the massive controllers here. This was one controller, and it only came with one, which is fine, but the other person is stuck with this. You're playing Mario Kart. Dude, it's like somebody playing with an Xbox controller versus somebody playing with, you're trying to, steer like you're actually playing with a car. It's so much more difficult, and the skill gap would have to be insane. So that's also, you couldn't take this thing anywhere. That was the main problem with it. I mean, that was the problem with the Wii as well, but, I mean, when you have a literal, TV in front of you, or an iPad, the fact that you can't take it anywhere is, it kind of sucks, alright? It kind of sucks. But the Switch isn't going to go in GOAT, but it's going to go on Iconic, and it could potentially make its way to GOAT. Now, they were $300 on launch, which Nintendo was always cheaper usually than the PlayStations and the Xboxes, because it's a different kind of console. I know. And they're usually more mobile. But the Switch, the reason the Switch is Elite S tier is because of this. Now, I don't have a face cam, but what I do have is this. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's the sound of the controllers clicking in and out. You can take this thing anywhere. You can play any game anywhere, as long as you have this and a phone with a hotspot. That's all you need, and you can play this anywhere. So that's why, you know what? And you can play with friends too. So this is why that's going in the GOAT tier as well, alright? I know, I've contradicted myself 10 times in this video. But you know what? Okay. Xbox original. Actually, I don't know. It was a good console because it put Xbox on the map, but I don't know. It was kind of just... So yeah, Xbox, it just kind of put them on the map, and it wasn't really the best console. It wasn't the worst. Kind of up there with the PS2. This is pretty equal, That's pretty. Okay, now I believe that's the Xbox One. Now, I've heard different things from different people. Some people say, okay, this thing was awesome. They pretty much, like they followed up the 360 as best as they could, and it was still really good. And I know some people who would like to place it down here because they're like, oh, they tried to build it like a computer, and let's just say it's no computer, and it's just difficult to use. Personally, on the limited occasions that I've played it, I thought it was good. Maybe not as good as the PS4, because the PS4 got PlayStation back on the map, and the PS4 was always pretty fast. But I'm gonna have to put the Xbox One at mid, just because I don't necessarily know. I'm not like, I don't play it every day. I've only played it maybe a dozen times, so I can't really say, oh, it's the best console or it's the worst console. I can't really, so it's just gonna go in the middle of the pack. Alright, so that is our console tier list for today. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry I haven't posted in forever. I just posted a re-upload of a CSGO stream that we did. So I hope you enjoy that, and have a great rest of your day, and goodbye.